Welcome back, guys. It's craft time. We are back to playing with resin today, and I am very excited about it. I have been watching, my favorite lady from Pouring Your Heart Out. Definitely go check out her channel. She's so talented, and I just find her very charming. But she's the one that taught me how to do the 3D flower technique, and if you don't know what I'm talking about, just jump on over to those videos and check them out. It's a very, very cool little process. But her latest is so cool, and I honestly don't remember how she titles it, but to me it's like a crinkle effect, almost like if you have like tissue paper or some kind of fabric in the resin, and it just looks stunning and I'm obsessed with it, so I had to try it for myself. So I'm going to take you guys on the journey with me as I try to figure it out. Let's go ahead and get started. So I have gone ahead and mixed up my resin, just to not make you guys sit through that, but I have mixed up 4 ounces of resin, and I'm basically going to pour an ounce in each one of my little molds. Just make sure they're sitting nice and flat. Set this to the side. I'm going to kind of let this sit here for a minute and let those bubbles start to come up. I'm going to hit it with my heat gun, and then I'm going to grab my saran wrap and get it cut down to the size relatively of what I think I might need, and we will start that process. Okay, so I have cut just like these little squares of wrap, and I'm going to attempt to put them on. It might be hard with my gloves on, so let's just see how it goes. I'm really excited, but super nervous because it didn't look easy when she was doing it, and she's done it a few times. We can laugh and get frustrated together. Okay, so wrap number 1, just going to try to get it flat. On there the best I can. Let me get a So the issue is, well, there's lots of issues. Getting it to stick to the resin without having 1,000 bubbles in it, but also not having it stick to the sides to where it won't go down into the resin. So I'm just going to be gentle and take my time with it, and then I will obviously speed you guys through the next portions to not torture you and make you watch what I'm doing. So I'm just pulling up my corners to make sure they're not sticking to my mold. That way it can actually get down in there. A thinner mold would probably be ideal. I have one, but it's only a set of 1, so. Okay, so now that that's in there, and I have it pretty flat against the resin, I'm not really seeing any bubbles that are trapped, and I apologize if my big head gets into the film here. So now I'm just gonna start poking it down just to like make little divots and wrinkles. Like I said, still be careful not to get any air bubbles trapped, but pulling on the side. All right. good to me. See, the more wrinkles you want, the more saran wrap you want to be on the surface. That way it has room to push down without pulling taut completely. But I feel like that's working out. Just be very gentle. All right, I'm gonna speed you guys up a little bit through this next part. All right, guys, I did it. I know I do have a little bit of air bubbles in here, really small ones. I don't really know how I could do any better than that, especially on the first try, so I'm not going to complain at all. But I'm just going to sit here, let this harden completely, and I'll be back with you when we go to peel off our plastic wrap. We are back. These have hardened with plenty of time. They've been sitting here for close to 48 hours now, just because I haven't been able to get back to it. And this is just peeling off very easily, so that's not too bad. As I say that, of course. So I'm just going to peel these off, and then I'm going to get my mica powders ready. And I will come back to you. Alright, so I've taken all of the saran wrap off. The only thing I could see possibly being problematic is there's like little edges from the plastic, which I've pulled some of them off because it's really thin, so it kind of just like peels away. But I don't want to mess with it too much because I don't want to accidentally pull this resin piece from the bottom and create some problems for myself. So I'm going to leave it, and we'll just kind of see what happens with it so that I can learn for the next time I do it. I am going to be using this really soft bristled paintbrush. I'm going to do 2 of them in this shiny purple, and then I actually don't know what color this is. It was sent to me from Solar Color Dust because I had used another one of their products and this came with it. So I'm going to just open it up and figure it out. So let's see. Okay, that's what I thought it was just a white, but that will be really fun. So all I'm going to do is use my brush to basically paint this into all of the little crevices. You just want to be careful. This actually might not work because this is more like glitter and not mica powder. They tricked my ass. Hold on. Alright guys, sorry about that. I apologize for my language. Sometimes I forget. I'm just going to brush what little bit I had in there kind of around and kind of do the same on the other one so it looks purposeful. But y'all know. Okay. I will pick another color for these then. And we'll go ahead and do our purple over here. So I'll keep you guys with me as I start it, and then I might be speeding you through so that, I mean, you probably don't want to watch this whole thing. Just be careful. From what I learned from the videos I watched, is you don't want too much. You don't want basically there to be any extra that you don't need. So just paint it on. Oh, it's going to be so pretty. And just move it around into all of the crevices. But, like I said, without too much excess. So just put in a little at a time, which I might have put in enough for the entire thing. We'll see. So you want it to be covered thoroughly without basically puddles of powder. You can see that's kind of like a little flake that I was telling you about where it gets really thin. So yeah, you get the gist, and I will go ahead and speed you up. Sweep this one up a little. I'm going to get everything situated and put away, and I will be back with you guys to pour in the top, like over the top, or what will be the bottom of the coaster. All right, I'm trying to decide what color to do with each of these. I think I'm gonna go with this ash color. It's like a really dark gray, almost a black color, with the purple ones. And then I was thinking this really bright, beautiful blue with the teal ones, that maybe it'll look kind of like a watery scene, possibly. So I'm gonna mix up my resin. I'm back. So I don't remember if I let you guys know, but when I did these, I made up 4 ounces of resin. So basically there's an ounce in each. I just made up another 4 ounces and I split it. So there's 2 ounces in each of this so that I can put 1 in each of those. And now I'm going to mix up my mica powders to color my resin, which it's all a personal preference on how like dark or transparent that you want the resin to be on the background. I don't think I want it to completely take over, but I also don't want it to be see-through. So I just did 3 tips of my little popsicle stick into this one. You can see that. So I'm just going to mix that one up. So that'll be nice and solid. That's a pretty color. Oh, I like it. Alright, just make sure that you mix them up really good. Get all of your crevices, scrape the bottoms and the sides. I'm going to go ahead and pour this one. Actually, I'm going to let it settle for a minute. You see all those bubbles coming up? And then I'm going to do my blue, and I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to do just 3 scoops of it so that it's a nice solid color. One, which I don't even think you guys can see me here. There we go. 2. Okay, there we go. Close this up. Ooh, that's a pretty color too. All right. I should be wearing gloves. Do as I say, not as I do. And then just gonna pour them in as evenly as I can on both of these. So hopefully it's enough to get into all those crevices. Kind of let that settle a little bit to see where I'm at. All right, I'm going to let that kind of self-level. Start over here and just see where I need to add more. This one's a little more fluid, I feel like, than the other. All right, well, I'm going to just kind of move this around, get it leveled out, make sure it's covering the entire thing. And then when I come back to you guys, it will be time to unmold them. All right, these have been sitting. They are ready to be demolded. So let's see how we did. Definitely have some sanding to do. Oh my gosh, that's awesome. Do y'all see that? I love that. Let's see how the other one turned out. Are those not gorgeous? I love it. So you can see these, this is what I was talking about in the video. These little things, but they're just like so thin. I can literally peel them off with my hands, but I'm gonna clean all this up and then sand it down. And then I think I'm going to do either silver, probably silver on these. Silver edge on those ones. So now let's see these. Okay, so the teal pretty much went away, especially on this one. This is the one that flattened out a lot. It's so crazy though because it looks like there's tissue paper in there. Let's see how this one did. This one had a little more creases for the teal to go into. Yeah, so the teal pretty much went away. I need, I guess, more contrasting colors. But those are still so cool. And then same thing. I'm going to clean up the edges. So I will clean those up, sand those down, pick what color I want to paint onto my sides here. And I will come back with you guys for a final reveal. All right, I am back. I have now cleaned up the coasters, all of those little edges that you saw. To do that, I just used fingernail clippers, which I would prefer to use like the little cuticle like cutters, you know, the ones that are kind of like scissors where you push them together and you can cut your cuticle off. Those work a lot better, but I have lost mine. So I just used just some regular fingernail clippers and a fingernail file to help sand down the edges to make them a little smoother and even it out a little bit. So before I show you guys how they like the final turnout, I wanted to kind of give you my thoughts on what I will do different next time, which will definitely be a next time. I am a little bit obsessed with these coasters. So yes, as you saw in the video, I used a popsicle stick to smooth out the saran wrap and then also like to poke it to make the wrinkles and things, which worked great. But I think next time I'm going to kind of be heavier with it and get my, poke it with my fingers and like pinch up the saran wrap just a little bit to give it a little bit of a deeper wrinkle, because as I found that over time, as it started to settle and harden, it did kind of flatten out a little bit in some areas and took a little bit of the crinkles away, which happened more on the coasters that I did in the blue color than the purple. And you'll definitely see the difference, and I think you're going to be with me on this, that the purple are, I love them. So let me just show you guys how they turned out. So one, I'm going to show you the back. This is just the back, and you can see there's still a little bit of a messy edge, but I'm not too worried about it because they're going to be down, and it's not going to scratch anything because I've sanded them down really well. But I did a silver on the side and then also on the top and kind of like around the top edge. But this is how the blue turned out, and I just love this technique. I think it's so cool. To me, it looks like there's tissue paper in there, but I might be crazy, who knows. But here's the other one. This is the one that flattened out the most. So it's not as detailed or as fun, but it's still pretty cool. I mean, you can definitely see the movement in there. So that's with the silver, the blue ones. Are you guys ready? So the purple ones, I did the same thing. I just took my cutters around the edge, got all of those edges off of it, sanded it down with a nail file. You can also use sandpaper or whatever you have. But this is how they turned out. I love these. I love them so much. You may not love them. Everybody has their own style, but I'll bring you guys in for a closer look of these and give you some still shots. Oh, I just think it's so neat. I'm so happy that she shared her technique with us all here on YouTube. So if you give it a shot, I would love to hear how it went for you, how they turned out. What did you learn? Do you have any advice to offer me? Do you have any techniques that worked a little better for you? I do, like I said, plan on trying this again. I have a few ideas rambling around in my head that I want to give a shot. So be on the lookout on those videos in the future. But yeah, give me some feedback if you have certain colors that you would like to see, if you want me to try it out in a different way, in any way, I would love to hear from you. Yeah, so I will bring you in for a closer look. Thank you so much for coming back to see me, and I'll see you next time.